How can you get ready for a meeting in English so that when you start, you feel confident, you feel fluent, you're spontaneous, you can react, and you're already thinking in English? If you have been thinking your whole day in your language, maybe German, then when you start your meeting, usually the first 10 minutes, the brain needs to adapt to English now. And in this video, I'm gonna show you a very quick technique that you can use 2 minutes before the meeting so that your brain already starts working in English, so that when you start the meeting, you feel fresh, you can totally tackle the conversation, and you feel you're already thinking in English. I have created another video where I talk a little bit more about expressions that you can use for your meetings that will enhance your fluency and make you feel more confident. And there are expressions that honestly you can use everywhere when you need to explain something. So go watch it. It's here. You can watch it after this video because it complements this video. Here we're going to be talking about how to prepare before the meeting. So the minutes before the meeting starts. What I want you to do before any meeting in English or every conversation in English that you might have is 3 minutes before or 2 minutes before the meeting, I want you to listen to something in English. So ideally, this would be a song that you already know, a song that you know the lyrics of, and then you listen to the song, and if you are in a safe space where you can sing a little, you can sing along, or you can say out loud some of the words of some of the lyrics, right? Some of the words that you learned with the song. And I want you to be so active in English. Now, we don't listen to this music as kind of background music, and it has to have words in English. We actively listen to this song in English, right? Trying to understand what they say, trying to repeat what they say. And the function of this is that your brain starts thinking in English. It switches the code from your native language to English. And this can happen super fast. You don't need 10 minutes for this. You just need some minutes. Because the first minutes where the brain is still switching, especially at the beginning, then you get used to it. But at the beginning, when your brain switches from one language to the other, it needs a little time. And the first minutes are the worst. So if you come into a meeting thinking in your language and then suddenly you get confronted with English, you're not warmed up, and the first minutes are gonna be the most difficult ones. And the problem is that maybe they say something you don't understand, and then it all goes downhill from there because you feel I didn't understand. Now I can't speak English really, oh, today's not a good day. And because you have this thought, then maybe you actually don't understand because now you're busy with these thoughts. So avoid all that by getting warmed up in English, actively listening to something in English. And if you are alone or if you are in a closed office, you can still pronounce it. You can still say it out loud. Sing a little. Make your brain start working in English. A great alternative to songs, if you don't have one or if you want to vary a little, are mottos. Mottos are sentences that you tell yourself, and they have a similar function because you start saying them in English, but they also have another function. Let me explain. One could be, for example, I deserve to be heard regardless of my English. I deserve to speak up regardless of my English. I deserve to be heard regardless of my English. Regardless of my English. See, I made a mistake. But I deserve to be heard regardless of my mistakes. I deserve to be heard. Heard, not hurt. Heard. I deserve to be heard. I deserve to speak up. I'm worthy of speaking up regardless of my English. Regardless of my mistakes. I deserve to be heard regardless of my mistakes. So you make your sentence the way you want, you repeat it to yourself, and as I said, it activates your brain to start thinking in English, but also it changes your attitude, right? Because you're repeating to yourself that you're worthy of speaking up and that you deserve to be heard, even if you sometimes make a mistake. Everybody does. The other central key element to any conversation that you want to have in English or presentation is making notes. Now, when you are in your first tongue, in your first language, you don't make notes for a casual conversation that you're going to have, right? But English is not that old friend that comes to you whenever you need it. Sometimes you are in the middle of the conversation and you want to say a word and you can't retrieve it, and you just try and you can't. The word just doesn't come to you. This happens, it's super normal, it's your second language. It's super normal that this happens, but something that totally helps us is making notes. Now, it's very important about the notes that we don't write full sentences. What we do in the notes is we write key words, only bullet points, words. And what you do with the notes, so now you have a structure with the notes, what you do is before the meeting, you look at the notes and you go through them in your head so that when you are facing the conversation, you have a structure in your head. So you have clarity and you can speak with confidence. So for me, there are two types of words that I write in my notes. First of all, the topics, so the structure of the conversation. I want to talk about this, and this. So one word or two words for each topic, and that's it. And the other kind of words that I write is words that are difficult to pronounce or that I feel I'm not going to remember. And these have to be words that are really important for the topic, right? So you're going to talk about a topic. This has difficult words like maybe the word revenue or something. And then if you think that word is difficult, maybe you write it down and you practice a little bit before the conversation. Revenue. And then if you get lost and you're like, ooh, what was the word? Then you can look at your notes and remember it was revenue. This I do with important words that I maybe sometimes don't remember, or I think I'm not going to remember, so or the pronunciation is hard, so those words you write down. And no complete sentences in your notes, no paragraphs, no asking ChatGPT to write the whole conversation, because the problem with that is that then in the middle of the conversation, if you need a word, you look into the paper, you see the whole text, and you don't know what the word is, right? What the word that you're looking for is, because it's a whole text. So just key words. The most important points only. That was it on my side. Cheers, Uriel.